Rabbi Fixler, welcome to the pulpit.
I think the first inklings that I wanted to be a rabbi came around the time of my bar mitzvah. Jewish life lit a fire inside me, and I wanted to follow that flame to its source and share that light with others. I discovered a Judaism that was the connective tissue that linked the story of my life to something greater and gave my story meaning and purpose. I wanted to help other people find these connections too, and the rabbinate seemed a logical place to do it. So for the 2 decades since my bar mitzvah, I've been studying and preparing. Now, I wanted to be a rabbi for as long as I can remember. I've been a rabbi for 64 days. 2 months ago, I went from being Josh, the guy who wants to be a rabbi, to being Rabbi Josh Fixler. It's a very strange thing in your life to reach the horizon. A strange and wonderful feeling to reach and then sail past it. Now my real rabbinic education begins. Here, with you, I will learn what kind of rabbi I will be. In the 64 days of my rabbinate, it feels like everything in my life has changed. We moved from New York, we bought a car, we found a house, and then, 22 days ago, everything changed again. On June 14th, a bundle of wonderful named Ella Fixler joined our family. The blessing in the days that follows have been innumerable. So I've been a rabbi for 64 days and a father for 22. Both necessitate a lot of on-the-job training. I'm getting a crash course in diapers and bottles, and then I turn around and I'm standing here on the bima addressing you for the very first time. Both at home and here, I'm trying to find my feet, to understand what kind of rabbi I will be, and at the same time, understand what kind of father I will be. One flows into the other. Daily, I learn new things about myself that inform both my rabbinate and my parenthood. With that in mind, tonight I thought I'd draw on my vast experience and share with you some of what I've learned in the past 3 weeks. So here are 3 lessons I've learned about being a rabbi from becoming a father. Lesson 1. I don't know what to call you. It's a very strange thing that one of your first tasks as a parent is to pick the kid's name. It's a lot of pressure. You must pick the thing that this person's going to be called for their whole life. I have a friend who has this, she said she has this special skill. She says if you go up to her and you tell her what name you're thinking about for your baby, then she will think of all the ways it can be twisted into taunts by kids on the playground. I was just picking pretty names, and now I have to worry about this too. But I also felt a lot of pressure because I didn't know her yet. We chose the name Eleanor Judith, but I didn't know if she was an Eleanor or an Ella or an EJ or something totally different. We hadn't even met when Annie and I picked that name for her. We had to hope she'd grow into it. There's a midrash that teaches there are 3 names by which a person is called, one which their parents call them, one which people call them, and one which they earn for themselves. The last is the best of all. I think this midrash relieves me of some of the pressure I felt in picking a name for Ella. Annie and I get some early say over the name people will call her, but we have to wait and see what name she earns for herself. We don't get to weigh in on that one, but we get to watch as she grows into it. And I know almost none of your names either. And I want to. But even more than that, I want to know your stories. I want to know the name your parents gave you, what people call you, and the name you're earning for yourself in this world. Now, there are a lot of you. And the Talmud says that each of you have 3 names, so this is going to take a while. I'm going to need you to be patient with me, especially since my retention of new information has dropped precipitously, perhaps in correlation to the number of hours I'm sleeping these days. But I want to know you. I want to know you by your names. So please keep sticking out your hand and sharing your name with me. I'm excited to know it. Lesson 2. I don't know what you need because we haven't learned to communicate yet. I'm sitting in the nursery rocking a crying baby at night. I'm shifting Ella from one shoulder to the other and bouncing her and singing to her, and nothing is relieving whatever tiny agony she is feeling. Then she looks at me, her eyes widen, she burps loudly and falls asleep in my arms instantly. I think to myself, the hardest thing about babies is that they cannot talk. What's nerve-wracking is that I can see something is bothering her, but she cannot tell me what it is. And sometimes it's nothing at all. Sometimes she just needs to stretch her lungs out. But all the while, I'm doing this elaborate dance and trying this solution and that solution to comfort her mysterious wails. Sometimes I've done something to upset her. Despite my best intentions, I've placed her in such a way that her arm is at an uncomfortable angle. Sometimes she just doesn't want to be on her belly and she doesn't have the ability to roll over yet. But she cannot tell me these things, and I am left to guess why she has started crying all of a sudden. In this week's Torah portion, Balaam beats his donkey because the donkey refuses to go forward. Balaam cannot see what the donkey sees, that there is an angel in the road blocking the way. The donkey pulls to the side of the lane, scraping Balaam's foot on the fence, and Balaam lashes out in frustration. Finally, the angel grants the donkey the ability to speak, just so that the donkey can say, "Hey, dude, there's an angel. Stop hitting me." Their failure of communication leaves both parties bruised, and it's only when they finally talk to each other that they can move forward. There will be times that you and I will rub each other the wrong way. I am not so naive to think that it will always be a smooth ride. I will miss the mark. I will not know things that my predecessor knew. I will still be learning. And we will have to learn how to talk to each other. We do not yet know how to say ouch or hey, I can see a thing that you can't yet see. But we will learn. And I will need your faith and your patience as we do. When I am in my patient moments with Ella, I can see that she is teaching me her language. She cannot speak, but I am learning what she likes and what she does not like, and why she cries and how she wants to be laid down to sleep. More than I am teaching her to be my child, she is teaching me to be her parent, and I am learning to listen. I will need you to teach me how to be your rabbi. Lesson 3. It's never enough, and it's enough. This week I had to say goodbye to Ella as I got ready for my first day in the office. I didn't cry when I left. I cried when I got home and I saw her beautiful little face. I swear she got bigger in the few hours that I was gone. And my heart cracked open with the thought of the number of moments that I will miss, the number of days I will not be home with her. As incredibly happy as I am to start my work here at Emanu, I also felt like I could never do enough for her. But it is enough, and I must keep reminding myself of that. I will read to her, I will care for her, I will try and keep her safe, and she will have this community to grow up in, a community that is warm and compassionate, that will care for her and accept her, a community that will give her strong roots so she might learn to stretch her branches towards the sky. I will teach her that she will love, that she is loved, and it will, of course, be enough. In this Shabbat's Haftorah, the prophet Micah confronts people who are feeling a similar kind of inadequacy. They feared their sacrifices were not enough. And Israel cries, would the Eternal be pleased with 1,000 rams and myriads of streams of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for my sins? Would that be enough? No, Micah says. All you need is to do justice and love mercy and walk humbly with your God. That is enough for God. It is not about the sacrifices you bring. You yourself are enough. Micah reminds us that this is what we all need to learn. We all sometimes feel like it's never enough, like we are never enough. But I look at Ella and I think that I will love her through her challenges and her frustrating moments, and we will remind each other, she and I, that we are enough. That's the kind of rabbi I want to be, the kind that reminds you that you are enough. The kind that reminds you that when you bring your gifts to this place, the sacrifices you bring of your time and your talent, that will be enough. The kind of rabbi who reminds you that this synagogue appreciates you for the fullness of who you are and not just for your shiniest, most Instagrammable moments. And I hope that sometimes when I am feeling like not enough, like I could stay for one more meeting or plan one more program, that you will remind me that I am enough too. So that's it. I don't know much about being a parent. 22 days in and I'm no expert. And I'm sure that many of you have lots to teach me. And I don't know much about being a rabbi yet either. I know lots of the stuff that you learn in classes over 5 years of rabbinical school, but they can't teach you how to be the rabbi at Congregation Emanu any more than a book called What to Expect When You're Expecting could teach me how to be Ella's daddy. But I know that this is the kind of rabbi I want to be. The kind of rabbi who helps us find the connections between the stories of our lives and the stories of our people. And the rest, we will learn. I will offer my hand and ask for your name even if we've already met, because I'd rather know your name than pretend to. And when we misstep, we will approach each other with kindness and curiosity and seek to learn to do better next time. And we will remind each other that we are enough. When the sorcerer Balaam blesses the Israelite people, he says, how beautiful are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. That's what I've come to Houston for. To be a builder of beautiful tents. Just as I want to make a home for Ella that is beautiful and loving and warm, I want to work with Rabbis Hayon and Silk and Cantor Simmons and the rest of the amazing staff to continue to make this community a dwelling place for the divine. In the last 2 months, I've embarked on 2 incredible journeys. I know that along the way, one story will continue to inform the other. O source of life, bless all these dwellings that we will build together. May they always be a reflection of your divine light. Shabbat Shalom.